Welcome back to the channel, guys. This video is basically going to be a build review overview because I never really introduced the car. This is the 1997 EK Hatch. I know I said that part, but just going to talk about it a little bit, where it came from, where it's at. So basically, I bought this car before the pandemic, a few years. I think I got this in like 2017, and I picked it up for $700, and it was clapped. It was not good. I know it's not great now, but it's not terrible. So I'm gonna pop the hood, talk about what's there, what used to be there, all that good stuff. Here she is. And this is my LS VTEC swap. This is a B18 B block B16 head, and as you seen in the last video, we got power steering in here now. We got a Blox intake manifold. This is a random intake from a Audi I found at the junkyard. This is actually intercooler piping, and this is just a filter I got off Amazon. I got a level 7 catch can I have a level 7 catch can cap. This is a breather cap. So some people, what they do is they drill holes into the valve cover, and that's how they vent their valve covers. But this cap actually lets you just attach it where your oil cap goes, and you run it to a catch can, so you don't have to drill into your valve cover. And the great thing about that is you can basically use it on any setup. Say if I went non-VTEC tomorrow, I could still use that. What else we got going on in here? Got the LS transmission. One recent thing I did put on here is this K-tuned slave cylinder. I don't know if it's really much better, but it looks a little nicer, I guess. And I got the stainless line, also a K-tune line. What else we got? Oh, we got the AEM fuel rail, adjustable. And I found that at the junkyard one day. So I picked that up for like, I think it was 10-15 bucks. And what else we got going on in here? We got the battery relocation. Also, this little radiator isn't really actually for a Honda. This is actually for an Austin Rover. And I didn't know if it was gonna work, but it did. Like, I just ordered it because it was cheap. But it's a dual or I think it's a dual core radiator. And it works just fine, because some people, what they do, they get the like the Skunk 2 half size, and it's pretty much about the same size as that. I think that's about it for the engine bay. If you see something you're curious about, leave a comment, ask me, and I'll get back with you. Now we're going to go to the inside of the car. and it looks like shit in here. But as you can see, I've got basically a full interior. That button fell off at some point in this car's life. I've got my oil pressure gauge, air fuels, boost gauge for when I put the turbo back on. I just didn't feel like taking it off. I got the rear seats in here. Found those. This whole interior came from the junkyard. Like everything in here, the dashboard, driver's seat. Oh, this is a CRV seat. So if you're ever wondering if you could do it, you just put the EK rail on. The only thing is, it does sit like a little higher than an EK seat or an Integra seat, because I found that Integra seat at the junkyard too. Yeah, it's a little dirty in here. So as you can see, manual. Let me think. Let's go to the back real quick. Alright. This is your typical Honda owner. Got your service manual back here. Captain Jack. Some tape. But I also have this cargo cover that I found at the junkyard. When I found this, I found these back trim pieces at the same time. Something I never thought I would find at the junkyard. Oh, there's the battery relocation. That's where it's at. But yeah, finding this at the junkyard was wild. Hello there. That's only slightly terrifying. We had a friend. Be free. Yeah, it's kind of a mess back here. Got spare exhaust pipes. A spare harness in case I need connectors for things. Oh, there's the spoolie boy I was talking about. Alright, so I guess now we're going to talk about where this car came from. Like how it was when I got it. Alright, so basically everything you see inside the car, like just imagine this. Imagine this interior with no dash. It had a driver's seat. It was some eBay knockoff bucket seat, and it was not comfortable. The seats were jimmy rigged to fit. Like the rails were bent. Had like some weird bracket bolted onto it. It was bad. No center console. No passenger seat. No back seat. No back trim. No door panels. I thought it might have had them for a second, but then I remembered it didn't. Had a cluster. Didn't work. The dashboard was basically the support bar that's behind it, and the cluster was zip tied to it. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I think it had a CRX shifter. Like, I'll get to that in a minute, because it was weird. Like, they wanted a manual car, but they did some weird stuff to get it. Because this was an automatic car, but when they did the conversion, they did some funky stuff. Back to the engine bay, because I think that's all for the interior that I can remember. Alright, you can see my beautiful B series in here. Everything looks nice. And if you were to see this car at a meet, you'd be like, oh, he, swapped an EK. You basically EK swap. Just throw a B series in it. Well, I wish. I really do. I wish that's how it went. But, lucky for me, there was a single cam in here, for sure. But the transmission was out of a CRX, and it was a cable transmission. So I don't know if you know EKs, or single cams in general, even EGs even. They don't use cable shifters. They use hydros. As you can see down there, slave cylinder, all the way up to the master cylinder. Hydraulic transmissions. Well, hydraulic clutches. Yeah, it had a cable clutch. And I didn't really figure all this stuff out until I went to swap, because I didn't know much about Hondas or, doing stuff to cars before I bought this car. But when I put the B series swap in, I had a stage 3 clutch, still do, and the cable clutch ripped it through the firewall. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get a hydraulic transmission, because I had a B series cable transmission, and it was bad in the first place. So after I got that one out, I was like, I'm just gonna put a hydraulic clutch transmission in this thing like an EK is supposed to have, and that one's been great ever since. Alright, but back to the swap it had. So it basically had a full CRX swap. And if you know EFs, they have a back mount down there. And if you can see that little booger section, if the camera would focus again. Yeah, that little booger section right there. That's where they had the EF back mount welded on, because there's the EK mount. That's how the EK mounts. It's over here. The EF is to the left of that. So they welded a mount to the subframe. So I obviously cut that off when I went to do the swap. And that was just one of the wild things about this car. The other thing is, I guess to do the swap, they put EF spindles on this thing. So if you know about swapping an EK, you can use the spindles you have because they fit B series axles. Well, I had to get EK spindles. I had to make this thing an EK again. That's what happened. I had to remake this thing into an EK, because it basically turned it into an EF. So I had to get EK axles, B series, EK spindles, and yeah, that was fun. I know I'm missing stuff. The car was red. It looked like trash, and the paint doesn't look the best now. It's been a few years since I repainted it, and there's definitely spots on it that are horrible. I'll expose myself a little bit, you see that? See up there, the clear coat's starting to come up. So one of these days, probably this year, I'm gonna wet sand everything, put some more base, and I think I'm gonna add some purple flake to the clear coat, just to change it up a little bit. Has been this color for a while, but it was like 50 shades of red in primer, faded red, fresh red, plasti dip probably. Okay, so we went over the swap that it had. Oh, I didn't say what motor it was. So EFs usually have a D15, I think, just like the EGs. But this one had like a European or Canadian EF swap. It had a D13 and it was boosted. It wasn't tuned. It was boosted. It wasn't tuned. And that's why I sent a rod out of it when I went to tune it, because the clutch slipped going about, well, I won't expose myself, but let's just say it was going fast. Clutch slipped and it sent a rod out the block, and that's when I decided to do the swap. I was like, alright, time to put a B series in here. And this is all back when like B series stuff was affordable. Because like people come to meets now and they look at my car, they're like, oh, a decent, you know, EK Hatch, it's fairly clean, B swap, LS VTEC. Like, man, he had to pay a fortune for this thing. And I really didn't until I got to like this stuff. But even the head I picked up fairly cheap before all the prices went up. But yeah, I picked the shell itself up for $700. Like I said, it was clapped. Oh, on the interior, one thing I did forget. There was like 3 sections of flooring that were starting to rust out. So I re-welded in some floor pan that I cut out at the junkyard. And I did that with a Harbor Freight welder. Sealed it all up. POR 15, seam sealer. And it's held up really good. I was under the car recently. I think I did that like 2-3 years ago now. Under the car recently. No signs of it bubbling or coming back up. I even like looked under the carpet where it was. It looks fine. So I'm happy about that. Yeah, I don't remember if there's anything I missed. Oh, the car didn't have AC. Just looking over at this line reminded me of that. Yeah, it didn't have AC. So I had to take the dashboard out and put all the boxes in because it didn't have anything in the dashboard. And that's my fault because I put the dashboard in. But back when I put it in, I was like, I really don't give a shit about this car. It was like when I first got it. I was like, I don't really care about this car. I was like, it doesn't need AC. But then a few years went by. I started making it nicer. I was like, you know what? I want to have the option. So I put all the stuff in. And the AC didn't work because I'm on a chipped ECU. And it kept shutting off every time I clutched in. Like the car would die. And I think that's because I can't adjust the IAC duty cycle. So now I'm just waiting until I get like a management system to fix all that so I can actually adjust it. But yeah, but now everything's there for AC. I've got all the lines right there. I've got the bracket to run it at that line. Got the condenser over there. Every time I say it, I think that's it. I remember something about the car. That's how much stuff I've actually changed. But now I think for real, I think I might have covered everything. Pretty sure. But if you got any questions about the car, like, or you're interested in building something similar and you don't know where to start, just leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Or you can check my TikTok out at boosted_donkey. Same with my Instagram. Over here. You got it right there. And yeah, I'll get back to you. Because I don't gatekeep builds. If you want to know something, I'll tell you. If I know it. I'm not going to lie to you. not gonna ask me a question and I'll be like, yeah, this for sure, when I'm just talking out my ass. But if it's anything like related to this, like power steering, like you got specific questions, or the level 7, just anything random. I had a bunch of questions along the way. Had a bunch of friends to ask, because forums are, if you've ever been on a forum, it's just people arguing with each other. Like, you'll see an answer and be like, oh great, that's the answer. You'll scroll down 3 comments and it's just someone calling someone else a dumbass, like, no, you don't do that. And then it's like, yes you do, no you don't, yes you do. So it's annoying. Forums are annoying. I like clear-cut answers, like power steering, what will work? B20 bracket, B16 brackets. I meant B20 pump. Yeah, stuff like that. So, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you didn't, I'm gonna cry tonight. Alright guys, it's been real. This has been my EK Hatch. Peace out.